Hello and welcome to the Freelancers Tea Break, the short and sweet podcast you can enjoy whilst you're making a cuppa. I'm your host, Emma Cossey, and this is the podcast for anyone who is already freelance or is thinking about going freelance. Welcome back to another episode, and this week we're going to be talking about outsourcing, but particularly outsourcing if the idea of outsourcing anything in your business at the moment seems really scary and overwhelming. So I wanted to share how you can get started with it, but also, more importantly, that you don't have to start big. I think a lot of people get scared about outsourcing, say, admin work to a VA, or their bookkeeping, or their accounts, or their social media, or their email. And it can feel like you have to give away all of this sort of access and all this responsibility for things that you've been doing all on your own. And that can feel quite scary. I think especially if you're giving away things like your email, or not giving away, but giving access to your email or to your accounts. So I wanted to say, first of all, you don't have to start big. You don't have to sign up to some massive package straight away. Start small. And I thought I'd share a little story of how I very first started with outsourcing. Well, this is actually the second thing. The very first thing I did outsource was my accounts right from the off, because I knew I wouldn't be able to do them myself. So I've always had my own accountant. But the second time was I wanted to start outsourcing my emails because I wanted to start doing newsletters more regularly, but I couldn't get the consistency. I could never remember to do it. And I just didn't feel the deadline dependency. Now I have ADHD, my ADHD diagnosis. I understand much better that there was no urgency, and consistency is just not something I excel at. I need that external support on it. So I spoke to Joe Shock, who I've now been working with for, I want to say 12 or 13 years, maybe. I think I started working with Joe just before I had, or when I was pregnant with my son, actually. And he's just about to turn 11. And the first thing I started with Joe was just getting her to check and schedule my newsletters for me. And what it meant was that I had to write the newsletter, which I still do. I'll explain more on that in a minute. And then Joe would take the newsletter, check all the links worked, and check I've included everything. And on occasion, sometimes I would write a sentence and forget to finish it. So she'd just nudge me if I did that. And then she put it in Kit for me and schedule it. Actually, originally, it was MailChimp. And it was Joe that helped me move from MailChimp to Kit. And so many things since. Joe is just such a huge part of behind the business, of making sure that everything stays consistent and comes out regularly. But that's all I started with, that Joe would take the newsletter, check it, and schedule it for me. So it was one small task. It didn't require loads of access to things. I've never really been great about handing over access to my emails, my inbox, and it's never really worked for me. But that aspect where I struggled with the consistency really helped. And then from there, Joe did more and more, and she's done everything for me, from moving me from Teachable to Podia, setting up a lot of my systems on Dubsado. She's just a systems queen. And yeah, but it all started from a very small step. And the same way with social media, I just started with somebody who just helped me schedule a little bit of it out. And then as I got kind of more confident with this, then I could grow it. So now Laura and I meet up and we batch record all of the reels for the next few weeks or months. And then we will schedule them all, and we have stock images and things like that. And we'll have meetings each week. But we do most of the content creation together. And then things like carousels and captions, are the things that Laura helps me with. I do the scheduling myself, because sometimes I like to tweak the captions or just add something extra that I hadn't thought of before. So the scheduling for that I do myself, but I know plenty of my clients who the scheduling is the hardest bit. So they create all the content, all the captions, and then they hand it over to be scheduled. So if you find that there's like that last step that you really struggle with, that could be the one thing that you start with. So before we go into the next bit, I just wanted to share a little clip from someone in my Freelance Business Lounge.
Hi, I'm Sharon. I'm the owner of Send Allies. I've been a member of the Freelance Business Lounge for the last 3 years, though I've known Emma and been a super fan of her a lot longer. The bit that I love most about the Freelance Business Lounge is being able to drop into Emma's boxes, leave her a message with some random question or what feels like a random question, and have Emma come back to me with like her absolute best advice, free tips, pointers, and where to go and how to move forward, which she does for me at least every Tuesday.
So I have actually created a blog post with a whole bunch of different things that you could think you could start to outsource with without being completely overwhelmed. But a few of the ones I've got on my list here are email scheduling, which is what we did. Also, we have got to the point now with the newsletter where Friday I'll write those ones, Monday's ones, which are the freelance to-do list. If you're not signed up, every Monday I send out a freelance to-do list, which has a item that one suggestion to find clients, one suggestion for self-care or self-development, and one suggestion for admin. So those go out, but we've been doing them for so many years now that Jo actually has an incredible table with everything in there, and she can kind of go back to previous years and use previous ones, and we'll also add in extra ones if we come across them or any other suggestions. So that one Jo can actually put together for me because we created so much content over so many years that we can repurpose it a bit. So yes, scheduling is a great one. Social media scheduling, replying to certain emails. And if you don't feel comfortable handing over your whole inbox, you can create a email for that freelancer and you can forward the ones to them to reply for you, or you can CC them in. So it means that you're not giving them access to your full inbox, but they can deal with some of the follow-up. So it's fantastic if you struggle with onboarding or offboarding, they can potentially help you with that side of things. It might be editing your blog posts or creating Canva graphics, or I think one of the best things if you struggle with the numbers side of things is bookkeeping. Outsourcing your bookkeeping is surprisingly quite affordable, but it saves you so much time and so much stress, and also knowing that it's been done properly. I think that's a really beneficial one. And now that we have all these systems like FreshBooks, Free Agent, Xero, where you can give your bookkeeper or accountant access, it makes it a lot easier. So I've put together a list over on the blog of lots of different things that you might want to think about, but you don't have to do lots of things. You can start small. It does depend on the VA you're working with. Some of them do have larger packages. It's absolutely fine, but some are happy to start with a smaller package and build up. So it's worth having a look and seeing what's around. You also don't have to give access to loads of information. I would recommend, if you're outsourcing, to use a tool like LastPass, or I think Dashlane's another one. These are password tools where you can give them access to be able to log in, but they don't have the actual password. And then you can revoke that access if you want to. So that's a really good way as well if you don't feel comfortable doing that. So I just want to share that because I know we had someone in one of the calls recently who finally outsourced something that they'd been meaning to do or had found a little bit challenging to do. And it's not just the time that you save or the amount of like the money that you're spending on it. It's the stress. It's knowing it's been done properly. It's been done probably faster than you could have done it. And that's a really wonderful thing. And also this expectation that as small business owners, we should do everything ourselves and we're a failure if we're not is bonkers. You wouldn't expect it in any other industry. So once you're at a point where you can start to outsource some things, it's definitely worth thinking about, and also thinking, can someone else do it faster for me? Because that actually saves you money as well. So I hope that was useful. And if you are a VA or anyone that you outsource services to, you might want to share this as proof that it's really worthwhile outsourcing when you can. I hope you have a wonderful freelance week.